At MATC, there are almost innumerable ways for students to express their creativity. Here on Stormwatch, we highlight some of them for you every week, from photography to culinary arts to animation and much more. Now, a newspaper just isn't a newspaper without some comics, and thankfully the MATC Times recognizes that. We sat down with the creator of Momo, the cat who gets into all kinds of funny situations, to find out where Momo got his start and what goes into making this fun cartoon.
James Frame. I'm an animator, illustrator, cartoonist, artist. Yeah, that's me. That's what I do. I created Momo in 1983. Momo was first published in '84 in the Alton Telegraph. I'm from Alton, Illinois, and that was our Journal Sentinel. And the name Momo came from my father. My dad named Momo. It was the first cat that our family ever had, so naturally my dad named it. And Momo stands for Missouri Monster. And I have no idea where he got that from. I don't know where he came up with the name Momo, but that's where the name came from. But I was really into Garfield when I was little, and I would draw Garfield all the time. And I was sitting in the kitchen. I remember I was sitting in the kitchen and I had just finished watching a Garfield special on TV, and I was like, I want to make my own cartoon cat. So I was trying to come up with a cat based off Momo, and my initial sketches and stuff, they looked like Garfield too much. And then I drew a Christmas card for my mom that had Momo in it, sneaking across the living room floor and climbing up into the Christmas tree and, you know, ripping it to shreds, the way cats like to do. Yeah, I basically pull my inspiration from my life's experiences. A lot of the cartoons that I have drawn actually came from experiences that I've been through. And there's one where Momo was running, he was late for going out with his friends, and he was running down the sidewalk around the back of his house, and as he ran through this chain link fence, it caught the belt loop on his pants and ripped the entire butt out of his pants. So that was actually the last cartoon I finished, and that actually happened to me, and I didn't even exaggerate it. It was an entire exposed butt cheek. I came across this photographer who was creating 3D images, and I just thought, oh, that's pretty neat. So I sat down one night and checked out some YouTube tutorials, and then I created my first 3D cartoon. So I took it to Bob Hansen down at MATC Time, and he liked it. And he was like, wow, this is really cool. I wonder if there's a way that, you know, we can put it in the paper. An entire issue to 3 Momo cartoons, and I've been doing a lot of 3D ever since then. As far as marketing possibilities, I have all sorts of ideas. I came up with something called the GTO Racer with real muscle car sounds. It's a remote control 68 GTO like the one Momo drives in the cartoon. Stuffed animals, action figures, comic books, posters, movies, the works. Just everything you can possibly think of. Stickers, you know. Well, ultimately, I want to start producing some animated cartoons, and I'm going to continue publishing the illustrated cartoons as well. My biggest goal, like for syndication, when I know that I've achieved my life's work, is a Macy's Day Parade float. That's really what I want. I want to get a Macy's Day Parade float so that on Thanksgiving everybody will see them floating down the street.
It's great to see how drawing as a child can turn into a passion throughout life and result in publication. Now, we're actually lucky enough to be joined today live in the studio by James Frame himself, and he'll be doing a drawing for us that will be revealed later at the end of the show. Welcome, James.
And nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Now, I noticed in that video, before we get started, I have a quick question for you. I noticed in that video you were pretty young when you started doing Momo. Have you been drawing long before that time?
Oh yeah, I've been drawing my entire life. My earliest memories of being an artist were in kindergarten. So I've always associated myself with being an artist, and I don't know, it's just something I took to pretty early on.
Cool. Well, it's great that you found a lifelong passion and you've found a way to channel it into something that's getting you noticed, getting recognized. I'll let you get started on your drawing while we take a look at what's going on down in the Commercial Graphic Arts room.
Growing career with employment everywhere you look, from major corporations to web design, even in the video game and cell phone industries. Jackie's son teaches graphic design here at MATC.
I have been a designer all my life. When I was a little child, other children would play sport games. I would draw and I would use paper to construct little houses. I always try to make things. I taught at a different university in Chicago, DePaul University, before I came here. And before that, I was a consultant. I worked in design strategy for companies like McDonald's Corporation, CKI, and the Center for State Court. And before that, I went to school in Chicago. It's called Institute of Design. I studied interaction design and design strategy. In this particular class, we're looking into urban dwellers and their mobility. We're designing applications on cell phones or other mobile devices to solve problems in their lives. So job in graphic design is everywhere. You can go to any corporation, you will see designers in their marketing department, designing marketing communications, promotions, in their research department, doing qualitative user research involving strategic communication. And you can go to an advertising agency and students will design advertising campaign. They can work for publication companies and design publications. It's actually everywhere. Nowadays, interaction design become more popular. Students would have jobs in designing websites, mobile devices, involving game design, movies, and anywhere. The whole semester in this particular class, we're working on one project. The project starts from qualitative observation. They need to get into people's everyday environment, observe the way they interact, the way they conduct their daily tasks, the way they work, the challenges, the problems in their life. And then based on those direct observation and interviews, they identify problems that they can possibly solve with design technology. And then we work on the design. Our students are very talented and trained in design. The challenges part about the project was for them to understand strategy comes from research. Strategy doesn't come from the blue. It has a solid foundation.
It's interesting to see what goes into making all those logos and website elements. So James, what made you decide to come to MATC and get into the animation program here?
Originally I started in the photography program, and after being in that program for about a year, I came to a point at which one of the classes that I needed to complete in order to go on with the rest of my program wasn't available.
Ah, ouch.
So I decided to go ahead and just take one fun semester, and I discovered the character development program, or the character development class with Tim Decker, and I had a lot of fun in it, and so eventually I kept taking the classes and changed my major.
Well, I understand Tim Decker's very accomplished in the field of animation.
Oh, yeah, he was a Simpsons animator.
It's great that we have someone like that here at MATC. Well, what may be art to one person may not to another. One art form that sometimes falls by the wayside here in the technical college environment is the art of the written or spoken word. Jason Kolodzik of the MATC Phoenix Literary and Art Society hopes to change that on all 4 of the MATC campuses. The Phoenix Literary and Art Society at MATC allows students, staff, and alumni from all majors to unleash their inner wordsmith, poet, or artist.
The Phoenix is a long tradition at MATC, started nearly 50 years ago by the faculty that saw a need to create a place for the voice images, thoughts, ideas that the MATC community wanted to express, showcasing artwork, photography, essays, short stories, fiction, nonfiction, poetry.
If you major in any of the performing or visual arts at MATC, chances are most of your classes are at the downtown campus. Jason and the Phoenix are working to give students at the satellite campuses more opportunities to showcase their creative output.
One of the things in the last couple of years that we've been trying to do is bring an awareness and bring this idea to all campuses. For example, this semester we held an open mic at the South Campus. Last semester in the fall of 2011 we held an open mic event at the downtown main campus. By doing this, we're hoping to extend the awareness and availability to all students at all campuses.
The Phoenix Open Mic Tour is coming here to the West Dallas campus on Tuesday, May 1st. Spring is a time of renewal and rebirth, and the Phoenix will celebrate that at this open mic event.
On May 1st at 1 p.m. in the West Campus cafeteria, we'll be holding an open mic with a theme. That's something new. In the past, we've had open mics where it's just kind of bring whatever you wish, share what you would like, and we'll still have that at this open mic, but we're encouraging students, faculty, and staff to bring pieces that connect to this theme of rebirth. The Phoenix itself is a mythological beast that can never die. It's created, it's made of flames, and eventually it dies only to be reborn again. So we thought that would be a pleasant way and a kind of an exciting way to connect literature and the arts to this theme of renewal.
This event also marks a new beginning for the Phoenix, as they are launching their new publication, Phoenix Now, to give students more frequent opportunities to get their work published.
Phoenix Now is a publication that the student organization and myself, that we came up with as a means to get students' work out there quicker and more so than a once-a-year publication. We hope to produce 2 to 3 or more per semester of these magazines, and they will be free to the public. You should be able to pick them up at any of the 4 MATC campuses.
Jason sees the Phoenix as filling a void at MATC, especially at the satellite campuses like West Dallas.
The satellite campuses right now seem disconnected from the Phoenix and a lot of the availability of some of the performing arts. So our hope is that the Phoenix will fill a gap in connecting those satellite campuses with the literary magazine, the Phoenix Student Organization, and just the ability for students to have fun, to express themselves through the written word and through the spoken word, and also through the visual arts.
To learn more about the Phoenix and how you can submit, visit matcphoenix.com or email Jason. And that email address is at the bottom of your screen. Now, if you'd like to participate in that upcoming open mic event at the West Campus, all you have to do is email Jason with your written or visual art submission by 11:55 p.m. on April 30th, the night before the event. However, performances will be limited to 5 minutes. So James, do you have any other cartoons in the works, or is Momo your primary focus right now?
I'm primarily focusing on Momo right now, but I do have a couple spin-off ideas that I'm working on, currently developing. One of them is Momo the Kitten for younger audiences, but I also have a superhero duo that Momo, the character himself, draws in the cartoon, but I'm going to keep that under wraps until it's fully developed.
Okay, so we're hearing about that exclusively on Stormwatch for the first time here. Now, this past week was our spring break here at MATC. Now, while we were all enjoying the time off, let's see what happened at the school over the break.
It's spring break here at Milwaukee Area Technical College. Spring break is a scheduled period of time the college graciously sets aside for its faculty and students to break from their currently scheduled classes. During vacation, the school halls sit empty, devoid of the attention they normally receive during operating hours. This springtime sabbatical is beneficial for the college, as it gives the people who work behind the scenes time to improve the general atmosphere here on campus.
New signs have been added to the sides of buildings to aid students in the navigation process as they sojourn towards a proper education. See how easy it is to read the sign? The bright colors help attract the eye and lead it towards pertinent information. General repairs are always ongoing here at MATC, but this series of days in early April gives maintenance crews the opportunity to work in a quiet environment that promotes productivity. These boys have been working around the clock to ensure your education takes place in a safe, well-repaired facility. Thanks, boys! These vending machines are well stocked, ready for students to claim riches that rest safely behind the glass. Spring break gives vendors time to restock their machines and ensures students are constantly satisfied with their favorite snacks. I know that I can handle it. I can handle as much time as it takes for somebody to come and get me. I have plenty of preservatives to keep me fresh. What I'm really worried about is those animal crackers over there. Nobody eats those. We are animal crackers. There are many of us, and we represent a group. We are more than just one Snickers bar filled with preservatives and chocolate. We are animal cracker cookies filled with preservatives and lemon flavoring. Parking lots sit mostly vacant. During regular operating hours, these spaces would be bustling with activity as students matriculate between school and their lives outside of the classroom. We've been ensured that this lack of activity in the parking lots is in no way a detriment to the profits of the independent lot owners and operators. Vote Snicker Bar, Spring Break 2012. Please choose animal crackers, Spring Break 2012. For Spring Break and for news, I'm James Gale.
Well, it's good to see that someone, or I should say something, is happy that spring break is over. Now, James, you're obviously drawing with a pencil right now, but with technology developing as fast as it is today, do you find yourself using computers more often to do your drawing and animation, or do you like to stick with the tried and true old school ways?
I like to use all kinds of different mediums, but my favorite is pencil, and I'll pencil that ink, scan it in, and color it with Photoshop. So I like to use a lot of the digital arts as well. It's much cleaner, not as much cleanup. You don't have eraser, shavings all over the place in your lap.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's convenient. And then, you know, if you have a piece of artwork that's destroyed, you can always print a new one out.
There you go, best of both worlds. Now, one art form whose method hasn't changed too much over the years is glass blowing. We spoke with a few artists in Bayview to see how amateur glass blowers have turned their hobby into a profession.
Alex has been a glass blower for almost 2.5 years.
I was living in Miami at the time, and I broke an expensive piece and didn't want to replace it. I was looking at videos online, and it was something I thought I could do. So I started going on forums and learning about it, reading about it, taught myself, bought stuff, you know, and started out in like basically a little tarp hut that I built and like a concrete bench that I borrowed from my landlord, and it was, yeah, just playing around.
He uses borosilicate glass to make pipes, marbles, and other attachments. The torch he uses is an oxyacetylene welding torch, but he prefers to use propane because it's cleaner and hotter.
Hi, my name is Chris, and I'm an amateur glass artist. I had recently just moved into this house across the street. Alex moved in over here about 2 weeks later. We both had the same interests in glass work and artwork.
It's really hard to get into. Burns, cuts, respiratory hazards, huge words. It's hard to learn. I can show you my scrap bin. It's full, like it fills up quick.
And I take everything that's just in my mind through a daily basis and kind of feel that just through artwork. Some people, they do a lot of this glass artwork for the money aspect, and for me, I mean, the money is kind of like a bonus aspect, but I'd rather take everything that I know and put it through something that I can hold in my hand and be like, yeah, I made this.
It's a lot of money. It'll take a while to pay off, and if you stick with it, it can work out. If you bail, it's gonna be a big loss, but I mean, like, yeah, it's a pretty rewarding thing. It's fun stuff.
I'm gonna be a father in July. I want to make a piggy bank for my daughter, so that's gonna be a goal for the future. But as far as this goes, a goal would be to just keep moving forward, keep letting Alex train me and kind of just shadow him on a daily basis.
There's an awesome forum out there I'd like to plug. It's called talkglass.com, known as the Melting Pot. But yeah, there's a lot of awesome people on there, and they'll help you out as much as they can. Use the search button on there, and yeah, there's a lot of useful information. It's all been happening in the last like month or two. I've just been starting to pay off rather than being like an expensive hobby. I've been starting to sell stuff and like make money back, and yeah, it's been doing good now.
Wow, it's amazing to see how much work goes into something so small. Now before we go into this week's creative package, let's see how James's drawing turned out here. Wow, look at that. Looks like Momo's having some trouble with his GTO there.
Yep, trying to get it tuned up.
So I take it Momo is quite the gearhead.
Yes, he is. Yep. A lot of cars in the cartoon. A lot of muscle cars, something for everybody. Mustangs, GTOs, new tuner cars. I don't want to alienate anyone.
Any particular source of inspiration for that?
I grew up around GTOs. I got a picture of me in the back of my father, GTO when I was a baby, in a baby seat.
Nice.
So I've been around it my whole life. So this is one way I can incorporate that love into another love.
Okay, excellent. Well, we have to go into this week's creative package, where one student gets to do something a little bit out there, like Foursquare, for example. And I'm not talking about the app either, but if you like the app, you'll love this. Let's take a look.
Ham and eggs coming at you. We spit the spoon. Car. Game on.
Well, I'm Brian. We started this crazy phenomenon, the Underground Foursquare League, back in, geez, I think it's about '96 now, in a little quiet urban setting known as New York. Been on A since about '96 now. Yeah, since about the day it started, really. Yeah, it's just been basically the same four of us traveling around the world, you know, playing Foursquare, trying to pick up some other players. Nobody was really getting into it. We talked to ESPN, Ocho for a little while, and they kind of laughed at us, and they laughed right in our face.
All right, the rules. No black magic, no cherry bombs, no chicken feet, no skip-dee-doos, no skip-dee-don'ts. Yeah, duh. Other than that, there are no rules. Game.
This is the regulation ball. We've actually been using this ball since the day we started. This is the '96 original. It's Thomas a Train. I picked this out in '96 because, well, my dad actually. I kind of felt bad for the guy. I think he had some real daddy issues. It wasn't good. So I agreed to join, and really the rest is history.
No!
I didn't really find Foursquare. Foursquare sort of found me. It's always kind of just been who I am, and it's what I do. So I live for, I die for, I bleed for. And, you know, so it's been good to me.
Cops!
I found Foursquare and they really turned my life around. You know, just forget it.
Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this week. I'm your host, Andy Worley. I'd like to thank James again for coming on.
Thanks.
And you can see his work in the MATC Times. I hope you all had some fun and join us again next week where we'll tackle sports. Good night.